The Full-Time Review is brought to you and supported by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental, and by Craig International, a truly global company with 10 offices strategically placed around the world. The future of global procurement is right here. In what was Neil Warnock's first game in charge, Aberdeen fell just short against Rangers at Ibrox on Tuesday night, going down by 2-1. It means this in terms of the league table. So we have dropped down a position to 9th position. Motherwell are now above us in 8th position. Plenty of games still to go, plenty still to play for. Hi there, welcome to Ali Beg ABTV. I hope everyone is well despite the result last night. So this is a pre-recorded show. This is not live, it is pre-recorded. So don't leave any comments underneath the video as I will not be able to read them out, obviously. What I have asked you to do though is leave your comments on my social media pages, which you have done. So I will do my very best to read out the majority of those comments as we go along this evening. So this is the Full-Time Review after last night's defeat against Rangers at Ibrox, as I just mentioned, in what was Neil Warnock's first game in charge. So we've got plenty on the show, usual housekeeping to get through, and then we'll finish off by reading out all of your comments. So first of all, what I'd like to do is start with what Neil Warnock said in his post-match interview to the club's media channels. This is what he had to say. We'll get to this first. So to go a goal down early doors at a place like Ibrox is difficult, but I thought the application and the endeavour was excellent. The centre-halves were super. They kept it nice and calm. We showed them a bit too much respect early on, but we got past that and I thought we grew into the game. He finished off by saying, there was a lot of pluses for me in the game and things that give me encouragement to look forward to the rest of the season. For those of you that like your stats, here are the match stats from the game. So they enjoyed 75% of possession to our 25%. We had in total 9 shots to their 23. They had 7 on target to our 4. We committed 10 fouls in the game to their 7. And we managed to scramble 2 corners to their 13. Right, let me give you my thoughts on the game overall. I thought we started really poorly, which didn't come as a great surprise, if I'm being honest, because for some reason, when we play Celtic and Rangers, we always start the games like we have some sort of fear, whether we're fearing the occasion, whether we're fearing the atmosphere, I don't know what it is, but we just started so poorly. And to lose the goal as early as we did just put us on the back foot. And it was an awful, awful goal to lose. First of all, Stefan giving the ball away cheaply. It was an unfortunate slip by Jack McKenzie. And then I just don't know what Kelly Roos was doing. I don't know what he was thinking. And it gave me the ump. It gave me the ump big time. Just save it. That's all you have to do. Like a good old-fashioned goalkeeper who gets down with both hands behind the ball. Just save it. If you're not confident enough to save it, then at least have the awareness not to palm it back into a dangerous area. Push it round the post or something. It was a really, really bad goal to lose. The second goal, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because it was a decent effort. It was coming at him at pace. But again, I can't help but think that when the ball's coming at you, now look, I'm no goalkeeping coach, but again, have the awareness not to palm it back into a dangerous area. Have the awareness to think, right, I've got to get this away from the danger area. So either I'm going to catch it and hold on to it, or I'm going to push it away to where there are no incoming players. it was a really frustrating way to lose the game last night. Bojan Majowski, again, just, dearie me, what would we do without this guy? 20 goals for the season now. The first time that an Aberdeen player has scored 20 goals since Sam Cosgrove in season 2019-2020. And the player to do that before Sam was, of course, big Adam Rooney, who scored 20 goals in 2016-17. I thought it was just, I got to be honest, I didn't see it coming. But like what he did in the Celtic game, he just took control of the situation, showed fantastic strength, and just, again, his finishing is just superb. And for me, again, it was another frustrating part of the game, because in the middle of defence, they are not great. And I just felt that at times we could have got at them a lot more if we showed a little bit more bravery. Because at times I felt they were really overrunning us and we were right up against it. I thought we defended quite superbly. And for all the possession that they had and for the amount of pressure that they were putting us under, apart from the odd shot here and there, they didn't really create that many clear-cut chances. So, look, for me now, everything that has gone on before last night is now gone. It's confined to the history books. It's gone. For me, our season starts on Saturday. So Neil now has a good couple of days to be able to really assess what he's got in front of him on the training ground and where he goes from here. But for me, the season starts on Saturday. Right, so I've had my tuppence. I'm just going to drag the last two items in just before I get your comments on. So I want to drag that in. And I also want to drag this in as well. Where is he? There he is. Okay, so I'll get to that a little bit later. So let's get to your comments. I'm going to start with X, Twitter, whatever you call it these days. Okay, Rich1903 said, because I basically said that on my social media pages that I feel now is the time for Kelly Roos to be benched. So a lot of you have replied to that. Rich1903 says, I would agree if we had a Jay Gorta on the bench, but don't think Ross Doohan is the answer. I suppose we could give him the cup game on Saturday to see how he looks in a game we should be fairly comfortable in. I would actually champion for Ross to play on Saturday. But let's see. I love this name. Quanaldinho has said, Kelly is costing us matches, pure and simple. Think there are better options out there than giving him a new contract. Now, about a month ago, in my Herald column, I actually said I think it would be a good piece of business to get Connor Barron signed up to a long-term deal and to get Kelly Roos signed up to a long-term deal. I stick by my opinion on Connor, but I have to say now, I really don't know about Kelly. I don't think he's covered himself in glory in the past few weeks. I don't like to single players out, but I just think it's a debate that we need to have. He's nowhere near his best. He's nowhere near as good as he was last season. He has cost us some awful goals this season. And I think the issue is that he doesn't have competition. And he knows he doesn't have competition. So psychologically, he must think that the number one jersey will always be his, which could lead to complacency. Now, I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that is what is happening. I'm just putting it out there that it could be a factor. He needs competition, serious competition, to keep him on his toes, because at the moment, he is costing his games. Brian C. has said, send Roos home. If our other keepers aren't up to it, give Ruby a shout, can play on one leg, taking it forwards with head first saves. I think this is how you pronounce it, but I'm not 100% sure. Slotchy Dave. Jack McKenzie had the horrible wonder kid McCausland in his back pocket the whole game. Gartenman and Jensen were good. Bojan is sensational. Duke's arm never even touched Goldson's face. Agree. Red was a red. Goldson handball was a pen. Midfield needs Palvara and Phillips for strength and height. So, wasn't it obvious, the penalty claim right at the end of the game? Is that not even worth a check on VAR? Did it not hit Connor Goldson on his forearm? Oh, I keep forgetting it's Rangers at Ibrox. I do beg your pardon. But to be fair to Don Robertson, absolute kudos and respect for sticking to his original decision. Because, I listened to the commentary last night and I couldn't believe what they were discussing, that it wasn't a red card. It was a red card all day long. If that had happened to a Rangers player, they'd be screaming for a red card. It was a red card all day long. In this day and age and in this modern way of football, that is a red card. It shouldn't even be up for debate. So absolute kudos to the ref for sticking to his guns. We don't see it very often, but newfound respect, absolutely. Give respect when it's due. Right, let's get on to Facebook, because there are lots of comments on Facebook. Okay. Alex Wallace has said, we nearly got away with a point we really didn't deserve. Let Cantwell walk all over us. Why did we not man mark him? Kelly sold the jersey. Johnny and Clarkson should not have started. Obviously fooled the manager with training efforts. That said, loads of effort, but no supply to our star man Bojan, who had to do it all himself again. We need to address these issues. Derek Beattie has said, my thoughts. Roos continually parries shots rather than catches the ball, even when a tame effort such as last night's opener. His current form is very worrying. On the plus side, I thought Majowski was fantastic as usual, and Jensen had a solid game, which was encouraging. I'd like to see him and McDonald as the centre-half pairing, onwards and upwards under Neil. A lot of you commented about Duke. Now, he came on last night. I thought, look, there was some endeavour there, but for me, he was running down blind alleys. He is absolutely the shadow of the player that he was last season. Unless he gets a solid run of games and he rediscovers this form, I'm struggling to see what he offers us at the moment. And I'm sorry to say that, but I just don't see what he's offering us at the moment, which is a real shame. Gavin Bush has said, I agree Kelly had a shocker last night. Doohan deserves a chance. What better way to do it than Saturday? Plenty fight last night with little end product other than the goal. Need to start going two up top to give Bojan a hand. Donny McDonald says, I think Rangers were spurred on by the possibility of going top. You could see by their manager's reaction at the end. I think Warnock will market Majowski well and maybe we'll get what's worth. I had a look at some of Sutton's transfers. He's got some neck thinking 4.5 million. Mike Wilson, 100% on Roos, never comes for crosses, should be commanding the 6-yard box, not stuck on his line. Sorry, but although they were pinning us back last night, his mistakes are costly. John Bleasdale is on. Hi, John. We were okay defensively, kept Rangers largely at arm's length, but we were too wasteful with the ball, I agree. Cup game and next 4 league matches, 3 at home, are crucial in defining where we could end up. The 3 home league games are all winnable. Completely agree, John. Alex McDonald. Kelly Roos needs binned. To my mind, the state of AFC is the result of an accumulation of substandard managers over the past few seasons. Let's hope Neil Warnock can sort it out. Judging by his post-match comments, I think he is the man for the job. Greg Thompson. Must have been watching a different game from some others, but I felt Shinnie performed as well as expected. Clarkson brings nothing to our team anymore. Had flair and creativity when here on loan. Was this just to impress his parent club, he asks. Devlin and Mackenzie were great again. Polvara at the moment is a first team starter. Our keeper needs challenge for his place for sure. The biggest change we need is the fans to unite behind this team. Confidence breeds. Come on, you Reds. Oh, I think the fans will always unite behind the teams. We'll always have a moan up and a tear up. But one thing that we all have in common is that we will always unite behind the team. Ewan Rennie makes a good point. We weren't physical enough. Phillips and Polvara had more of a go at them than anyone else in midfield. VAR looks for one team and one team only. First goal, absolute howler, and there's been a few of them lately. I completely agree with that, Ewan, in terms of the physicality. I personally, I predicted the team and had both Phillips and Polvara in my starting 11 because I felt that we needed the physicality, particularly in the middle of the park. And when the two of them came on, I thought they both really made an impact. Okay, not for long, but I like the look of Phillips. There's a player there, and I think if we use him correctly, he could serve as well. Simon McPherson has said, if Warnock is right and he thinks Majowski can play, do we think we can get more than 5, 6 or 7 million that we think? Even at 8 or 9, he is an easy enough gamble for them. Gary Robertson has said, Ryan Duncan or Sokla should have played instead of Hayes. Sadly, his legs are gone. Our possession was terrible as usual against the Old Firm. We always let them dominate us. As for the goalkeeping, no comment, he says. David Scott, he agrees with my thoughts on Kelly. His mistakes cost us getting at least something from that game. Basic goalkeeping, always parry a shot to the side. Hopefully, Neil can work out a shape that works for us in midfield. If Bojan gets more service, he will score more for us than he already does. Neil Warnock last night predicting he's going to get 30 goals this season. Difficult to disagree. Scott Bowie has said, agree on Kelly Roos. Is Duan going to be better than Roos? Only be getting a chance. Will we find out? Look, it's the only way to find out where he's at. And you've got to chuck him in. It's the only way. It's sink or swim. And again, with the greatest respect to our opponents on Saturday, I think it's the perfect opportunity to chuck him in. So let's see come 2 o'clock on Saturday when we get the team news. Neil Bridgeford has said, Kelly's contract runs out at the end of the season. Debatable if it gets renewed or even if he wants to stay. Craig Gordon has just been offered a new contract at Hearts, which possibly leaves Xander Clark as a backup goalkeeper again. Could the Dons make a move for Clark in the summer? I know Xander Clark's agent very well. I might plant a seed in his mind. George Ironside has said, Roos threw that game away. Yet again, we were so poor in possession and struggled to make any passes. Hayes is like Bambi on ice. Remember Pauk. I worry that Johnny will get more game time. Majowski, what a player. Robert Dalgano has said, Roos needs dropped. I don't like having a go at a keeper. As if a striker makes a mistake, it doesn't count. But if a keeper does it, it normally does. But he's far from being the keeper he was when he first arrived. Basics for a goalie to push the ball to the side away from goals if you can't catch it. He's cost us too many times and his distribution is terrible. Graham Watson has said, better team won, but their goals came from Roos's mistakes. Overall, a decent performance. Could have had a penalty at the end. Devlin at Hearts was similar, defended very well overall. Paul Donaldson has also said, overall decent performance in the second half. At least the matches against both of Celtic and Rangers and Hearts away are now out of the way. If we play as well as we are capable of playing all of our remaining matches before the split, they all should be winnable. He can't disagree about Kelly Roos. His form in the past few games has been well below his usual standard. He's also suggesting Ross Doohan needs some game time. Ian Smith has said, I think it's time to put Roos on the bench. He seems to have a problem catching and holding shots. Parries away far too much. And I agree. A lot of you commented about the Sky commentary last night. I living where I live, I don't have access to it. I only watched on Red TV last night. But I did notice an awful lot of comments saying how biased it was, particularly the co-commentator. Donkey Wright has said, so frustrating. Roos could have dealt with the ball better at both of their goals. Rangers had the better of the game and deserved the win. We just need to up our game a notch and we can challenge them. Now we have an important run of games where it really starts to count. We need the same determination and drive. Gareth Mackey, I'm doing just fine, thank you fella. Well on the mend. Far hungrier performance again in the second half last night, and Devlin continues to look a bargain of a player. Agreed, Roos needs to be rested, as looks a mental block there for some reason. Barry McNeil has said, I thought that Johnny Hayes was a poor choice to start, obviously trying to do a job. Unfortunately, squad far too light, needs younger blood in than Johnny. Gordon Ritchie said, poor goalkeeping by Roos, can't fault the team for effort. We deserved a draw. He was at fault for the first goal, but not so sure about the second, as I was away with a comfort break. And if we play the rest of the season as we did the last two games, we will climb the league. Come on, you Reds. Look, there's plenty there to be encouraged about. You know, we saw the second half against Celtic. We saw it in spells last night that, you know, we can play really decent, attacking, aggressive football. We just need to do it consistently and over 90 minutes. But we can do it. Just need some belief. George Findlay said, Roos having a bad time just now, must be low in confidence. But thought we had a bit of a goal last night. 3 home games and 3 wins will hopefully change our season. Jim Donald said, still way too many balls been played in behind our fullbacks. Again, a lot of you are talking about why did VAR not check the handball right at the end of the game? It was so blatant, wasn't it? Oh dear. Willie Hanratty said, personally, I've never been a massive fan of Roos, but the exact same thing happened with Joe Lewis when our defence was poor. He lost confidence in the boys in front of him and started to look unsure of himself. Then all the fans turned on him. Roos has made numerous mistakes and poor judgment calls in his time here, but he's been fortunate enough that we've won most of those games, so it wasn't brought up. He says, as much as I'm not a fan of his, I won't be joining the bandwagon of slating him and calling for his head, as that doesn't help anyone. I agree, it doesn't help, but it is very much a debatable topic, and, you know, with the greatest respect to him, he's lost his form, and I just think putting him on the bench would be the best thing to do. Scott Wilkinson makes a good point. To be perfectly honest, last night's game wasn't a big deal. Warnock was literally just in the door, 1 training session. You could all but just write the game off. Had we taken a point, fantastic. We then move on. We've now got 9 games until the end of March, 11 to the split, and we don't play any of the top 3 along the way. This is where the work begins. I could not agree more. He finishes off by saying, as I mentioned at the top of the show, our season starts on Saturday. Gordon Keswick makes another good point. 2 goalkeeping errors cost us. However, don't forget how many games he's kept us in it. Overall, his time at Aberdeen has been largely positive. Let's not hound him out too. I completely agree with that. To be fair, he made 1 or 2 very decent saves last night, and he made some excellent saves against Celtic. And I have to say, on more than one occasion, he has been my man of the match. I'm just worried about his current form. I think we're all worried about his current form. But you're absolutely right. Don't hound him out. That is not healthy. Won't help anybody. Right, let's just see how long we've done. Okay, we're just coming up to 25 minutes. Yeah, again, there's a few of you have come on and said, look, he does need to be dropped, but let's not forget how well he has done for us since his time here. So many of you also not very happy with the Sky commentary last night. Malcolm Parker said, similar to the Celtic game, a little careless in possession and could have been done with Polvara on from the start. Won the ball fair bit when he came on, especially in the air. In all, not the greatest performance, but with a bit of luck and Roos not palming everything back to them, we may have sneaked a win. David Russell said, we did okay. Right, Finn, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. So it's Finn Frokjer Jensen. I really hope I've pronounced that correctly. I probably haven't, so please forgive me. Makes a good point. We looked really leggy at the start of the game and it made us look scared. After 15 minutes, we settled and despite riding our luck, we were in the game. Second half, we were under severe pressure and felt we should have taken Clarkson off as it was always going to be a battle. Disappointed with VAR, every incident that could favour Rangers was being looked at. The potential handball of Garteman in the first and the sending off. Poor offside decisions by the referee. In all, a typical Ibrox performance and refereeing. Okay. Right, so that's all the comments in for just now. Right, just to finish off, I've got a couple of things for you. So, as you know, I love my history. You should know by now. So, on this day, back in 1967, former winger Stevie Gray was born. Stevie played exactly 50 games for the Dons, but he tragically passed away in 2009, aged only 42. Rest in peace. On this day in 1973, former winger Andy Dow was born. Andy played 94 games for the club, scoring 8 goals. He celebrates his 51st birthday today. It's also Mark Perry's birthday today. And finally, just a little bit of housekeeping for you. So, if you are a member of Alibeg ABTV, there is a new initiative launched by YouTube where I can post videos for members only to watch. So the idea is that today I interviewed Billy Stark, our former midfielder, ahead of the Scottish Cup game on Saturday. So what I've done is I've already posted that video onto the site, onto the YouTube channel, but it's on the members only side of things. So only the members can watch it, which basically gives them a sneaky peek preview of what Billy had to say ahead of the game on Saturday. He also reacted to Neil Warnock coming in to the club as well, and we reminisced about his own Scottish Cup memories. So that interview, if you're not a member, will air on Friday night for the preview show ahead of the game on Saturday. But for members only, just go to the channel and it is there for your viewing pleasure. Right, guys, we are all done. We are coming up to nearly 30 minutes. So thank you for all your comments. Thank you, as always, for getting in touch and leaving me your thoughts after last night's game. So I'll be back on Friday for the preview show ahead of our Scottish Cup game at Pittodrie on Saturday. So enjoy the next couple of days and I'll see you again on Friday evening. Take good care. Stand free.